I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
Democracy is the political framework of the capitalist thought. It is the ruling system that the capitalist states and their like implement. Democracy, for those who embrace it, means that people rule themselves by themselves with the systems that they choose. The most important element of democracy is that it makes the human being and not the creator as the legislator, which is logical for those who call for the detachment of religion from life, because this detachment means to transfer the right to legislate from the creator to the human being. For Muslims to adopt democracy means to disbelieve in all the Quranic verses which oblige them to follow the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to reject any other law.
ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الكافرون ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الظالمون ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الفاسقون.
The Kafirun and their agents who rule the Muslim countries, as well as all those who call for democracy, realize that the basis for democracy is the rejection of the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and putting man in the place of the Creator. For this reason, they do not present democracy from this perspective, but instead claim that democracy means people ruling themselves by themselves, with equality and justice prevailing among the people, and the accountability of the ruler guaranteed. The advocates of democracy therefore intentionally avoid addressing the issue of rejecting the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The truth is that democracy has no actual reality. The claim that people rule themselves by themselves is a major fallacy. In reality, people are ruled by a certain group of influential people, such as the prominent capitalists.
Of ours. Meet Thomas White, former vice chairman of Enron Energy Services. While he was in the job, Enron rigged and exploited California's electricity market, causing chaos, power cuts, and unemployment in what the Senate investigator called a mob-style protection racket. He doesn't work there anymore. He's now Secretary of the U.S. Army. Meet Larry Thompson. He headed up the Audit and Compliance Committee of Providian. This insurance firm was forced to pay $400 million in fines and compensation after swindling its investors, the frail and elderly, of most of their savings. Larry later faced personal claims of insider trading after selling $4 million of Providian stock just before the share price dropped. But he doesn't work there anymore. He's now George Bush's fraud buster, charged with restoring faith in American business ethics. And meet Dick Cheney, head of the Republican committee to find a vice presidential candidate. He found himself. He sold $30 million of his shares as chief executive in engineering company Halliburton after accounting changes allegedly inflated the share price by $234 million. The shares later collapsed, and Halliburton are now under investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's thanks to men like Tom, Dick, and Larry that the biggest of the big guys, our great leader, George W. Bush, can stand proud and say,
You should be able to punish corporate leaders who are convicted of abusing their powers by banning them from ever serving again as officers or directors of a publicly held corporation.
George Bush. And he should know, because he's been arrested 3 times for different offenses and only got off an $800,000 oil shares trading charge when the investigator, appointed by his father, said there was insufficient evidence to proceed. God bless you, America, and God bless men like this, who do so much to truly make our nation what it is today.
These influential groups in the capitalist countries hold the necessary means to bring whoever they want into government and legislative assemblies, so that the laws which are passed and those charged with their implementation will be serving their interests.
Bush, George W. Founder of oil company Arbusto Energy, former shareholder oil company Spectrum 7 Energy, former director Harkin Oil and Gas, son of oil magnate George H.W. Bush. Cheney, Richard Dick. Former CEO, oil company Halliburton Industries. Customers included Unocal, Exxon, Shell, and Chevron. Plus Saddam Hussein, Colonel Gaddafi, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Rice, Condoleezza. Former director of oil company Chevron. Chevron are partners in a massive Caspian oil venture, had 129,000-ton oil tanker named after her.
Newsnight has now unearthed evidence that 22,000 black and mostly Democratic voters were excluded from the electoral rolls.
Regarding what is claimed about equality, justice and accountability of the rulers, these are all without any compatibility with reality. It is enough for one to look to America, the leader of the democratic world, to find that equality, justice and accountability are all selective, enjoyed and practiced by those who have a particular colour, religion, race or financial wealth. The suffering faced by the blacks, Indians, those of Latin and Asian origins, and those who are not from the Western European background, is evidence enough that what is claimed of democracy is, despite some exceptional cases, merely theory. Consequently, it is not allowed for a Muslim to accept democracy, because it is kufr and gives man what is entitled exclusively for the Creator. It is obligatory for every Muslim to reject it and to challenge all those who propagate it.